Track 55. J.K. Rowling was born in Bristol on July the 31st, 1965. After graduating from Exeter University, she worked as a translator and researcher for Amnesty International in London. But she wanted to take a new direction, and she moved to Portugal. There she embarked on a new career as an English teacher and fell in love with a Portuguese journalist. But their marriage ended in divorce, and the couple went their separate ways. Rowling suddenly found herself at a crossroads. Should she stay in Portugal and continue teaching, or return to the UK? She decided that it was time to move on. She went back to Edinburgh with her baby daughter, and that's where her life took an unexpected turn. For years, she had had an idea for a book, and she now completed Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The book took off immediately, and when Hollywood bought the film rights to Harry Potter, there was no turning back. Track 56.
Jeff, tell us about the change you've made to your life.
Well, last year I decided to give up my job and stay at home to look after my little boy, Ben.
Why did you decide to leave your job?
My wife went back to work after her maternity leave, so we had to put Ben into a nursery all day. It was really expensive, and after a while we realised that, after tax and travel expenses, we were paying more money in childcare than I was earning. It didn't make much sense. My wife earns almost twice as much as me, so it was easy to decide who should stay at home and look after Ben.
So basically it was a financial decision.
And a personal decision too. We felt really guilty about leaving him for so many hours every day. He was changing and learning so much, and we were missing out on it all. And then, when he took his first steps at the nursery, and neither of us was there to see it, that almost broke our hearts. And I decided that some things in life were more important than work.
So how long have you been looking after Ben?
I've been looking after him for about 6 months now, since his first birthday, and his first steps.
How has it changed your life?
Oh, completely. Totally. I no longer have to travel 40 minutes every morning to get into the office. I don't have to argue with my boss or waste time with difficult clients. Generally, I've been feeling much more relaxed since I gave up my job. And although looking after a small child can be absolutely exhausting, I don't get as stressed as I did at work.
So you enjoy being a stay-at-home dad?
Yes, I do. From the outside, it can seem like a very boring life. The days are full of what appear to be boring jobs: shopping, cleaning, nappy changing. But with a little toddler around, it all turns into a game. And he's great fun to be with. He's been learning to talk for the last 2 or 3 months, and it's absolutely fascinating watching him pick up new words.
Don't you miss adult company at times?
Oh, yes, definitely. It can be really tiring being with a small child, but there are plenty of playgroups and toddlers' clubs. The kids get on with their activities, and the mums and dads, much more mums than dads, of course, get a chance to sit down, have a cup of coffee, and catch up on some adult conversation. I've been going to one club for about a month, and I've made some really good friends there.
It can't all be good. What about the bad times?
Well, Ben can be difficult at times. When he decides that he wants something, it's very, very difficult to change his mind. And there are times when it can be very stressful. When he's ill, for example. And it's very difficult to get time to myself during the day. Most days, Ben sleeps for an hour or so after lunch, and that's great. But there are days when he doesn't, and he has 10 times more energy than me. On those days, I'm exhausted by the time my wife gets home, and I feel like I've really been working hard. Much harder than I ever did at the office. And I suppose that, yes, I do miss my job. I'd really like to do more work from home. The last couple of weeks I've been doing some consultancy work in the evenings and at the weekends, and I've really been enjoying it.
So, do you think you'll go back to work once Ben starts school?
I imagine that once Ben starts school, I'll want to do something, but I can't imagine going back to a full-time 9-to-5 office job again. I want to be there when Ben gets home from school. I don't want to miss out on his childhood. I hardly ever saw my father when I was a child. I don't want it to be the same for